If you don't know, Japan is a country that has been pretty prone to natural disasters. I mean, just yesterday, as of me recording this video, we managed to get through one of the biggest typhoons that Japan has seen in the last 6 years or something. And now there is a massive scare going around about a catastrophically huge earthquake that is going to hit the west coast of Japan anytime soon now. And look, granted, Japan has done a pretty good job of getting through these natural disasters. I mean, we had the giant 2011 earthquake that hit the north of Japan over 10 years ago now. Oh my god, that'll be 13 years ago as of this day. And every single year there seems to be some kind of earthquake scare. But the big scare that is happening in the country right now is this thing called the Nankai Trough Earthquake. So there's probably a bunch of people who are hearing about this word, and maybe some people who don't live in Japan or know nothing that's going on in Japan who's like, what is this Nankai Trough Earthquake? Should I be worried about it? Like, what's gonna happen? So for all of you guys who watch my videos who are in Japan right now or live in Japan, I wanted to make a quick video just talking about it and to, I guess, let the rest of the world know as well exactly what the Nankai Trough Earthquake is and why it is such a massive point of discussion in Japan right now. So Nikkei Asia has done an article here called Japan's Nankai Trough Earthquake Advisory, 5 Things to Know. Country reacts with calm concern over heightened chance of a major disaster. Calm concern. I love that phrase for some reason. So let's read through this article, learn about the Nankai Trough Earthquake together, and why it might possibly be, as some people are speculating, a huge natural disaster that could literally shake up Japan's future. Japan is on alert for the heightened possibility of a huge earthquake that could cause immense loss of life and property across a wide stretch of the central and western parts of the country. For the first time, the Japan Meteorological Agency issued a special bulletin and advisory saying that the odds of such a catastrophe occurring increased after a magnitude 7.1 quake struck off Miyazaki Prefecture on the southern island of Kyushu earlier in the day, generating several small tsunamis, which, as of me recording this video right now, happened, I believe, about a week, almost 2 weeks ago, and yeah, it was pretty goddamn big. And ever since that massive earthquake that happened in Miyazaki, albeit, you know, people in Tokyo like us weren't necessarily affected by that particular quake, there have been tons and tons of aftershocks. I mean, just a couple of days ago, my house, while I was chilling at home, got hit by around a magnitude 4 quake, and that was the first time in a long time where the earthquake alert actually went off on my phone to be like, yo, prepare yourself, there's going to be a big earthquake. Sure enough, about 2-3 seconds later, we just got hit with this boom type of earthquake, and I was genuinely worried. Like, I'm pretty used to earthquakes now, having lived here for quite a long time, but that one genuinely scared me. Luckily, everything was okay. Just, you know, a couple of things in my house fell over, but no major damages or anything like that. But it was definitely a big scare. And I think these aftershocks are definitely getting into people's psyches to be like, oh, okay, this is actually no laughing matter. This is actually no joke. Something big is potentially coming. Situated on the Pacific Ring of Fire, an arc of volcanoes and fault lines encircling the Pacific Basin, Japan is one of the most earthquake-prone nations in the world. Experts have warned for decades that it's just a matter of time before a massive Nankai Trough earthquake occurs. So here are 5 things to know about it and what might come next. So first and foremost, the hell is the Nankai Trough? Well, a trough is a long hollow in the seabed like a trench. The Nankai Trough runs along the seafloor off Shizuoka Prefecture, southwest of Tokyo, to Miyazaki Prefecture on Kyushu, which is where the big 7.1 earthquake happened. It is the meeting point of the Philippine Sea Plate and the Eurasian Plate, which are 2 of about 10 rock-hard tectonic plates that cover the Earth's surface. The government of Japan has given us a great little graphic to really just, you know, figure out where exactly this Nankai Trough earthquake is going to affect. And as you can see, it's like a massive part of Japan, a massive part of the mainland especially. So Miyazaki, where the 7.1 earthquake happened, is down by the south here. Beautiful city, by the way. If you ever have the time, please go check it out. But obviously, all of the west coast, pretty much up to Shizuoka, which is roughly where Mount Fuji is. Mount Fuji is just above here somewhere. You can actually see the little dimple here. That's Mount Fuji right there. So pretty much most of the west coast of Japan, or sorry, the east coast of Japan, excuse me, and the southern coast is going to be affected by this earthquake. So they are expecting a giant earthquake to happen somewhere along this stretch. So as you can see, even though Tokyo is not necessarily within the danger zone of the tectonic plate, if, for example, a massive earthquake were to strike, say, up on the north here in Shizuoka, that shock will most definitely affect Tokyo as well. And I think the scariest thing is that if a giant quake happens up around the north here, right near where Mount Fuji is, then yeah, you can imagine what might happen to Mount Fuji. It is an active volcano after all. A major Nankai Trough earthquake could severely shake or flood an area that covers about a third of the nation and where about half the nation's population of more than 120 million people live. Any megaquake is expected to extensively damage areas where manufacturing industries such as cars, steel, petrochemicals, and electronics are concentrated. The industries form part of a global supply chain, so the impact of economic damage is likely to spread nationwide and overseas. Aichi Prefecture is home to headquarters, factories, and suppliers to Tokyo Motor. Aichi Prefecture being right here where Nagoya is. So what is the government saying? Well, the epicenter of Thursday's tremor, the Miyazaki earthquake, was located where the much-feared Nankai Trough earthquake is expected to occur. An expert panel under the Japan Meteorological Agency judged that the possibility of a large-scale earthquake has become multiple times higher than usual and issued a Nankai Trough earthquake extra information bulletin and accompanying advisory for the first time. The agency urged people to stay alert for a week, as there have been cases in the past in which large earthquakes occurred consecutively in the same area within 7 days. While under the advisory, there is no call to evacuate, residents in potentially affected areas should be ready to do so immediately if necessary. And yes, there have been many instances where a big quake has happened, which everybody thought was the main quake, only to then experience the aftershock, which happened to be a lot bigger than the major earthquake that we thought was the real thing. So that's why the Japanese government is really urging people, even now, after a couple of weeks has passed since the Miyazaki earthquake, to be on high alert, to be like, yo, listen, we made this mistake last time, we thought the worst was over, only a week later, the even worse showed up at our front door. So just make sure that you got everything prepared. Make sure you know where your evacuation spots are. Make sure you have all the necessary emergency equipment ready to go, just in case something happens. You know, it's better to be safe than sorry. So people are urged to stay prepared by keeping emergency packs with certain provisions and goods close by, checking evacuation sites, and taking disaster prevention measures such as stabilizing furniture and stockpiling food, water, and other necessities. Authorities are also warning people to be careful about disinformation on social media, and that's why I decided with this particular video that I wanted to actually read along an article rather than compiling a bunch of different articles, and an article from a website that is very credible, mind you. Asia Nikkei is as credible as it gets when it comes to news about Japan, so that's why I am just reading off of this article, just in case, because the last thing I want to do with a topic like this is to give you guys misinformation. You know, apologies that this is just like me reading off an article or whatever, but I thought to convey the information, it was very, very important for me to be able to give you guys the real information. You know, none of this like disinformation that you see on social media. Although I haven't really seen personally a lot of like this disinformation on social media or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if it exists. Even in these kinds of very serious cases, there are some people out there who are just spreading lies, spreading bullshit, and yeah, it's really shitty that that is happening, but I guess that's just the nature of social media in this day and age. So people have been reacting in different ways. There has obviously been a lot of train delays and stuff like that, which happened last week as of, again, me recording this video, but even now, with the typhoon happening back to back in Japan, the train situation, especially in the Tokyo metropolitan areas, and I'm sure in the other major populated areas in Japan, have just been in an absolute shitstorm of delays and you know, cancellations and stuff like that, which if you guys know anything about like the Japanese rail system, the JR system, or, you know, even the subway systems, it's only in really serious situations where that kind of shit happens. So, you know, obviously people are very scared, people are very wary about it. So, where can people go for English language information and updates on the situation? And I guess this is one thing that I really want to highlight. This in the seek bar there at the bottom, this should be the most replayed part, okay? Pay attention. If you are visiting Japan, or you plan to visit Japan in the next couple of months, or you currently live in Japan as an English-speaking resident, you should be paying attention to this, okay? Listen carefully. Japanese media options are numerous, but unfortunately there is not really a one-stop clearinghouse for information in English. Still, it can be found. The JMA website contains basic information about the Nankai Trough earthquake. It can be accessed on the agency's homepage by clicking the services button at the top, where a link called Monitoring of Earthquakes, Tsunamis, and Volcanic Activity can be found. So I'm currently on the JMA website right now, and as you can see, it says here, services, and we get taken to this page right here, and as you can see right here, Monitoring of Earthquakes, Tsunamis, and Volcanic Activity. We click on there, and there you go. We have a bunch of information about anything and everything, including information about seismic intensity, earthquake early warning systems, tsunami warnings, and there you go. Here's an entire section on the Nankai Trough earthquake information. So if you want to read more into that, I will leave the link to this page in the description below, so make sure to check it out if you are curious and or worried about this Nankai Trough earthquake, because, you know, I'd be lying if I am saying that I'm worried. I'm definitely worried. As someone who, you know, whose family members were pretty badly affected by the 2011 earthquake and tsunami, this is a topic that I don't want to fuck around in. You know, I don't want to see anyone getting hurt with this kind of stuff. I don't want to see anyone, you know, getting screwed because of the lack of information and stuff like that. This is important shit to know. Even if you're just visiting Japan, you never know when it's going to happen. It could happen when you visit. It could happen when you least expect it. So I think it doesn't hurt to know this information. So again, I will leave this down in the description below. In saying that though, as of with the recent news, it seems that Japan has actually lifted the advisory for the Nankai Trough megaquake. So after a week has passed with no major seismic activity in the trough, the government determined that the immediate need for heightened preparedness has subsided. The government said citizens should continue their daily preparedness efforts, such as securing furniture, stocking emergency supplies. It emphasizes that the possibility of a megaquake has not entirely disappeared. A Nankai Trough earthquake is expected to register a seismic intensity of 7 on the Japanese scale of 7 in areas from Shizuoka to Miyazaki. So it's pretty much going to be as big as it could possibly be, and who knows, it might even be bigger. We don't know. And it says here the government estimates in 2012 predicted that in the worst case scenario, 323,000 people would die or go missing in the Nankai Trough megaquake. So yeah, this is as serious as it fucking gets, all right? Like, you know, there's no, like, bullshitting around. There's no, like, laughing, joking around in this video that I usually like to do in my videos, but in this case, no. Like, this is as serious as it fucking gets. And thankfully, for those people who want more information, my lovely girlfriend Aki has actually made multiple videos throughout the years talking about disasters in Japan, earthquakes in Japan. You know, she has these 3 videos right here, for example, that I suggest everybody watch and learn, because, you know, she actually goes through protecting our apartment in the, you know, in the case of a disaster, you know, how she packs for a disaster, you know, actually experiencing the dangers of an earthquake. So if you are interested in any of that and want to learn more, hey, go check out my girlfriend's videos. These videos are fucking great. I love them. I'm very proud of her that she managed to make these videos and share this information, because it is very important. Look, overall, I'm really scared of the Nankai Trough earthquake. I'm really scared of just natural disasters in general. But obviously, I don't want to be one of those, like, doomsdayer people to be like, all right, everyone get into your bunkers and, you know, prepare for the worst and stuff like that. Because, you know, at least my way of thinking about it is, if you're constantly living in fear of natural disasters, something that cannot be predicted, something that cannot be controlled, something that we're basically at the mercy of Mother Nature for, you know, it makes life miserable. So, you know, when you do come to visit Japan, or if you're currently living in Japan, you know, just make sure, like, to always, you know, maybe don't be constantly thinking about the worst case scenario with this Nankai Trough earthquake, but just always keep it in the back of your head. I think that always helps, you know, just in case the worst of the worst happens, you want to be prepared, both mentally and physically. So yeah, that was just a little public service announcement for that kind of stuff. You know, now that the summer is ending and the typhoon season is hopefully ending, with this typhoon just passing by, you know, it'll be a much nicer weather. It'll start to cool down a little bit from the excruciating Japanese summer that we have experienced. So yeah, it's a good time to visit. And you know, just to do a little plug at the end too, if you are visiting Japan in September, which is a great month to visit, then we're also doing a pop-up for my clothing brand in Shibuya between September the 13th to the 29th. Sorry I'm shilling this out, but hey, listen, as much as I'm afraid of the earthquake that might potentially happen within however long it's going to happen. It might be tomorrow, it might be in 20 years from now, who knows? But, you know, at least for the immediate future, this is something that I'm looking forward to, while also keeping the idea of the worst case scenario happening in the back of my mind. So, yeah, if you want more information on that, links in the description, or you can just screenshot this right now. Yeah. But yeah, anyways, guys, hopefully I gave you a little more information on the Nankai Trough Earthquake in case you had no idea what it was all about. And I guess let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below about it. Are you afraid of earthquakes? Are you afraid of the natural disasters that could happen in Japan? And if you are living in Japan, what are some of the precautions and preparations that you're personally doing? And, you know, if you can share any information or like little tips and tricks and that kind of stuff, I think people who are living here, well, especially me, will very appreciate that. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Stay safe, everyone, and thanks for watching. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to smack my face right here. Subscribe to the channel. Let's keep making big channel number go bigger. Over here next to my head is a couple more videos you can check out if you enjoyed this one. Links to my social media, as well as my Patreon to support me directly. And Nonsense, my clothing brand. Again, the pop-up. Check it out. Links in the description, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.